Yeah. You just gotta hold on. 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 Yeah. Yeah. You just gotta hold on.
Hey y'all, so welcome to part 2 of our Juneteenth episode. As you've seen, the conversation's been going really well and it's been going good. So, hey, we decided to make it into 2 parts. And so go ahead and tune in now to the rest of this part 2 of our Juneteenth episode. Let's go.
Go.
And I want to speak to something really quickly as well. We must pursue knowledge.
I was just about to say education is
Me too. Am I Kia been over there writing all kind of notes.
Right. And just taking her stuff.
we're one.
But we're one. That's
Right.
my wife. I love her. But liberation starts in the mind.
Right.
That
Liberation starts in the mind. There's dark holes in your mind until there's knowledge that is present.
Say that again.
There's dark holes in your mind until knowledge is present. And
That's good.
the problem is that we have allowed an idol in our life called the media,
come on.
music, to doctrinate us how we think,
Right.
how we view the world,
Come on.
how we see people,
Yes.
and how we view ourselves.
Come on, Dre.
And that's the problem, because we can't even get to the fact that there is systematic racism. Yes, there's absolutely systematic
It ain't gonna go
racism.
away, by the way.
And it may not go away.
Right.
However, you're doing yourself a disservice if all you're listening to is, man, I'm just jumping and I'm pimping out these. You know what? You know what I'm
Right.
saying? And I'm being real. I'm on the block. I'm shooting and we're killing each other. Black on black crime is happening. Things of that nature. Let me tell you something. Whoever has your ear has your future.
Come on. Come on.
Whoever has your lenses, your eyes, has your soul. I talked about this in the previous podcast. I said that your soul is comprised of your mind, will, and emotions. You want to know why you feel the way you feel, why you're angry, why you frustrated, why you're stressed, why you feeling depressed, why you feeling pain? It's because of what you've been seeing and what you've been listening to.
Right.
You need to read up on success stories. You need to get edified. You need to view things and listen to things that is going to condition your soul to be healthy.
Right.
And it has your will, which is your decision making. Right? And so if you're listening to things and since you was a baby, or since you was like 5 years old, 6 years old, 7 years old, 10 years old, and all you've been listening to is T.I., Young Jeezy, and they're over there trapping on the block. Guess what? Now you want to do that.
Right.
And now because you want to do that, you have influence in your school, you are literally indoctrinating others to do it. And now it's a popular culture to actually be destructive.
Right. Come on.
Like, how is it? I remember when I was in school, dating back to myself, that was not me. I had great parents.
Come on.
I had great parents. My dad was in my life. My mom was in my life. But when I went to school, I got talked about. I got bullied because of how I looked. I look just like you and you're bullying me. You get what I'm saying?
Right.
And the culture then it was about what you got on, how you look, what your clothes looking like. So you had to have money.
Right.
In order for you to be popular, you had to be associated with the gang. And that's why I got associated with the gang culture. It's because I was like, I'm tired of being bullied.
Right.
I want to fit in a space. I want to feel like this is my community. I want to feel a brotherhood. And that is why I start to attach myself and I started to identify myself with the gang culture.
That's what I said earlier.
And that's the thing. it starts with the kids.
Yeah.
It starts there because our culture, because of music, because of movies, because when I was growing up, there was Baby Boy, there was Minister Society,
Right.
all of these black urban movies, Friday, all of these black urban movies and music was all about oppression. And so here's the deal. We are literally enslaving each other.
Come on, Dre.
That's good, Dre.
That's what we're doing. We don't need a slave master any longer.
We got ourselves.
We got ourselves.
Wow.
You are slaving me with your music. You are slaving me with with the movies that you're putting on the screen.
Right.
I'm in bondage because of what you are doing in your life. And because my mind is undeveloped, I'm developing in your methods and your schemes in your life.
Good.
And now I'm in bondage and I feel like I cannot get out and I'm suffocating. And so here, that's the issue. That's why I said we need to pursue education. We need to pursue God because God is the truth.
Right.
God is the truth.
Come on.
Jesus.
I remember when I did not.
Oh my
Come
God.
on, Holy Spirit.
I remember so many different days I felt suicide. So many different days I wanted to kill myself because I did not know who I was. I didn't feel like I was belonging in a certain group. I was bullied. They was talking about me. They was beating me up in school. They were pushing me to a corner and beating me up, talking about my lips, talking about my teeth, talking about all of these different things. And I did not feel like I was belonging anywhere.
Come on.
And this is the issue with black people.
Right.
We're not connected. Yeah, y'all want to celebrate this holiday. Yeah, we're still oppressing each other.
Come on, Dre.
It's a struggle, man. It's a struggle. And that's why I'm saying, black people, the only person that's going to give you your truth is God. Because I am a living witness to that fact. I'm a living witness to that fact, man. Literally. It's been such of a struggle of finding myself all of these years because of what happened to me in elementary school. And parents, let me say this. We need the return of black fathers.
Thank you.
Yeah.
That's what I was about to say. Come on.
Because
Black man, wake up.
we need the black fathers, the black mothers to start to educate, indoctrinate your
Thank
kids,
you.
because you cannot just send your kids off to school because they're being bullied, they're being talked about, they're listening to all this crazy music, they're listening to pornography now, and now we have bestiality, we have homosexuality, we have polygamy that's going rampant in our culture right now, and you have the missing key for your child.
Yeah.
God has given you the spirit of wisdom and knowledge for your children, for your kid. And so what we need to do is that we need black fathers to come back. Let me tell you something. The problem is that the black father only believes that they should just provide. But there's a second thing, a second responsibility that the black father must do, and that's to protect. Where's the protection? The protection is just not on the exterior. Right. The protection is the interior. The protection is internal. It's my soul. Are you protecting me from the things that's going out in the world that's trying to come against me? Are you teaching me? Are you praying with me? Are you spending time with me? Or are you just out there working to bring bread to the household and leaving it to my mother to take care of me?
Well,
And let me
yeah.
just say this. A mom cannot raise a man.
No, she cannot.
They do not have it in their nature to raise a man. They don't.
Come on.
It's in the nature of the father to raise a man.
My Lord.
That's how it's designed. They're there to nurture, to provide counsel, to God, but they cannot raise you as a black man here in America. That is why we need black fathers to come back to the household and not the mothers keeping their fathers away from the children.
That's a whole nother conversation, my Lord.
Stop just putting your man on child support. Let that man spend time with his daughter or his son because they need it.
My Lord.
So, amen. And thank you so much for sharing your testimony. Black man, I see you.
Right.
Black man, you are loved.
Right.
Black man, you are filled with the Spirit. Black man, I see you.
Right.
Black man, you are loved. And to piggyback off of what he was saying, or just really to talk about it, the reason that these broken homes started in slavery, y'all.
Right.
They pulled the head of the households away. So as much as we desire for these black men to step up, some of them don't even know what that looks like, because it's been generations upon generations of nothing to go off of.
Right. Right.
And black men have been conditioned to not emote. Only emotion that they know is anger.
Right.
So I may be hurt, so I'm going to retaliate in anger. I may be sad, but what I'm going to show you is anger, or I'm just going to shut down completely and not even be able to do anything else. So when we talk about the mentality of slavery, it starts with the man. Because when they pull away that household, then it crumbles the structure of everything else. So yes, the music is going to come out. Yes, the media is going to do that, because the black man has not been built up enough to remember who he is, how important he is, how essential he is, how capable he is to be able to do what he needs to do to take care. Yes, you can be a father. Yes, you can hug and love up on your children. Yes, you can say, I love you. Yes, you can say, you know what? I don't feel really good today. I'm very sad, because I know as a black man, I know I'm not a black man, but I know they carry the weight of the world on their shoulders. I know it's a lot. It's okay to say, you know what? I'm really stressed out right now. It's okay to say, you know what? I'm feeling a little anxious in this moment. It's okay to say, you know what? I need a little bit of help.
Right.
It's okay to say, you know what? This is a lot. I need your support in this. Black man, I see you and I love you, and you are capable of doing what you're supposed to do. So yes, the charge is black men do need to wake up and understand that there is better for you. You are capable. You are capable of love.
Right.
And love don't have to be toxic.
Right. Come on.
That's good.
So how do we, like, this conversation is about our black people as a culture holding on to basically hurt, anger, just from things that happened in our past, and now wanting to celebrate that. And we talked about the difficulties in celebrating something when you're still attached to hurt and anger, right? It's hard to celebrate something in a healthy manner when you're so much anger and hurt and lack of understanding as it relates to this topic, or as it relates to this issue that we carry in America. How do we, like Marcus said, move past it when we lack the fact, or we lack the understanding that there is something to get over, that there is something for us to move past, that there is a way forward, there is a light at the end of the tunnel. When people don't understand that, people really feel like there is no hope.
So I think that was the initial idea behind the Black Power movement and all of these things, because on a larger scale, you do need somebody to refill
Right.
who have been depleted. And I think along the way, the enemy, being spiritual, the enemy put things in a way to try to disturb what was supposed to be had. We do need to come together, and more black men do need to hear, like those affirmations.
Right.
And I think that's why a lot of the African-American black community really hold on to affirmations a lot, because we have been hurt. We've been hearing the negative ones so much that we hold on to that affirmation that you do. And there's so much power in your tongue. There's power in your words. So we just need to, as a whole, speak more positivity over the black community. And I do agree that sometimes it gets overboard and they get a little overzealous with it, and then it can become offensive or what have you. But the black men really do need to get back to the basics.
Yeah. Let me say this real quick, speaking to the question that you just asked. How do we get past it? I think it comes down to the same thing in even scenarios that have nothing to do with Black people or Juneteenth, but people who are already past it have to go grab the hand of somebody else.
That's
That's
good.
good, Marcus.
You have to reach your hand out and grab somebody else to help them to understand, to help them to be free. It's just the same thing like with deliverance. When you get delivered from something, whatever it is in your life, it's not just for you. It should now be your goal, your responsibility, and your duty to go find somebody else who is dealing with the same thing, because you know what it was like when you dealt with it. You know how it felt when you dealt with it. You know the mind games and the traps and the snares of the enemy that were in your mind and in your spirit, in your soul when you were dealing with it. And so now that you're free, it's not that I should be able to just go merrily down the way in the park strolling. There are still people out there who are hurting. It's a responsibility. There are still people out there who need somebody to give them the light and to show them the freedom and how they can gain the freedom that you have. And so I think there is a lack of responsibility on people who have been free from it.
That's good.
You
Marcus.
lack that responsibility. And so you need to gain that. I know we talk about how we need to take stuff off, but that's a burden that people have to carry. That's a burden that we have to take on, the burden of freeing somebody else.
Right.
So yeah, that's discipleship 101. It's like we're not doing this stuff that we do just for ourselves. The things that we go through is not just for ourselves. The things that we go through are to help somebody else. Like, we're in this mindset and people are so caught up in this mentality that everything I do is to better me, to prosper me, to make me greater and to make me bigger. It's not about me. It's about how I can help somebody else. Something that we heard in church the other day, this doesn't have to do with Black people, is that so many people, and this kind of relates, but so many people go and chase money because they want to prosper. But when you're going after what your purpose is and what you're supposed to be doing, the money will chase you. You won't have to worry about money. You won't have to worry about that. Come on. But I'm dead serious. And so it's like when we stop thinking about how, or when we stop only thinking about how I can make myself better, only about how I can get bigger and how I can get more status and get greater, and we think about the purpose of why God was allowing me to get free, why God allowed me to get free, and why God gave me deliverance and understanding and revelation and knowledge, then we will understand and we will see more people get that freedom that they need from entrapment of these mindsets that we're talking about.
Let me say this. After he said all of that, this is our issue. In the military has a saying, in the absence of authority, I will take leadership. Right? And what we have in our nation, we have an absence of proper authority. And so the improper authority is taking leadership of our culture, because the lack of, like you said, the people who are free, the people who have made it, have been lacking in authority and lacking in that pullback. So these bogus replacements have stepped in. And they're leading our people down this path going backwards.
That's good.
Come on.
They're taking, like Dre said, music, media, companies are taking our people to a place and we don't even know we're on the boat.
Whoa.
That's the new slave trade.
My God.
That's the new slave trade.
That's it. And
We're on the ship.
We are on the ship and we don't even know it. And it's getting led by people we don't even know are in charge of us. They don't even have the same motivations as us. They don't have the same beliefs as us. They don't have the same moral compass as us. We don't even want to go where they're going. Come on. But we're on the ship because somebody else decided not to take over. Go ahead, Kia.
Go ahead. Finish.
Somebody else decided, my ship is good. I'm not letting passengers aboard. I'm just going to take who by myself because it's going to cost me a little bit of what I've got. right? It's gonna cost me a little bit of sweat.
got chills.
It's gonna cost me a little bit of blood. It's gonna cost me a little bit of tears.
That's what I was going to say.
I want to just keep all that I've got because I don't want to do any more hard work because I did all the hard
I've done
work.
enough.
I've worked hard as heck.
Don't nobody want to step up.
Listen, I literally was going to say we're so selfish, and we've done the hard work for ourselves, and we don't care about the next person, and we've been so brainwashed that people that are in leadership, we don't even take time to educate ourselves. We just go with what they're saying.
Right.
We've been brainwashed.
We're just following the crowd.
Literally.
Just following the crowd.
Just
Right on the
following.
boat. Getting right on with everybody else. Don't even know we're going to hell.
That's real. Listen,
I mean,
Don't even know we're going to hell.
you good? You were just go ahead. But I was saying, but back to what Dre Sean originally said.
Sorry, we got off
This
that
why
tangent.
you have to know God, and
Come
that
on.
because when you know God, you find your purpose, and when you find your purpose will help you to realize that it's supposed to help other people
Come on.
along the way. So not only it's not about you, it's not about us. Everything that you've gone through, every trauma, every hurt, every elevation, every setback was not only to help build you up into the person that you are, but it's to help somebody else along the way. And like Kia and Shalise was saying, we have become selfish because we've been so hurt and because so many things have been stripped away or whatever. It's like, at
Right.
what point is enough enough?
Come
and
on.
you get up and you change the trajectory. Yes, my ancestors were enslaved. Yes, my grandmother used to have to walk thousands of miles to go to the grocery store. That's not my truth right now, and I'm grateful for that. But where I'm at right now, I'm able to elevate.
Come on.
Yes.
And I'm grateful for what Marcus said, because when I do elevate, I can then bring the next generation up, because that's what it's supposed to be. And truth be told, all of the other cultures got that down.
Packed.
Why
Jewish
are we
community,
online?
the white,
Support each other like crazy.
the Asian community,
Yep.
the Mexican
Indian.
community,
Yep.
every other culture except for us.
we so caught up in how can I look better than my bro.
Come
Say it
on.
again.
We're so caught up in how can I look better than my bro. Oh, he got this fresh diamond bracelet on. Let me get a couple carats more than him. He got this degree. Let me get a degree more than him. Let me get a. It's a competition. Why are we in competition and not? Woo! Why are we in competition? Like, if we would get out of the mindset of, like, not saying that we can't desire to like something someone else has or have something that someone else has, but it's not a competition, bro.
Right.
Like, quit trying to compete with me. I'm not your enemy. I'm not your competition. I'm not your competition. If we can collaborate together, do you know how much of a powerful force we could be? Let's collab. Quit trying to look at what I have and not support what I'm doing, because I'm gonna support what you're doing
on.
if it's right and if it's in right standings, obviously. But it's so much of a competition, and the spirit of jealousy is on people.
There it is.
Like, I feel like we're steering a little somewhere
yeah,
else, but
yeah.
it's
Okay.
but black culture, if that's what we're calling it, it's so much of a competition.
Yeah.
I don't want to be lower than my bro or than somebody else. I want to have status.
Right. My Lord.
So, like, what I feel we need to do, if you want to be free,
Come on.
you have to fix your eyes back onto the Lord.
Come on.
Because here's the deal: what we do is we create false gods.
Yep.
False gods is represented by silent and dead idols. The reason why the idol is silent is because it has no voice. It has no voice. It has to rely on us to be the voice of that idol, which is the direct opposite of God, because
Right.
God is a speaking God. And so when you're talking about a false God, he has no voice. He needs you to be the voice, right? That's number one. Number two, it's dead. So you are carrying the idol in your life. You are having to carry and remain and say, you know what, like, let me just try to put this on my shoulder and let everybody else see that this is the idol, or this is the God that I believe in. And that's what we do as black culture. Black culture, or let me just say this, a lot of the black systematic racism that's going on is contributed towards us. We're carrying that as an idol in our lives and saying, you know what, we're still dealing with this. We're still being oppressed. We still can't get to a certain level in life. And so we are literally carrying that thing to be alive. Remember what I said? I said it's a dead idol. But what we try to do is that we try to keep carrying it and make everybody else believe that it's still alive. And that's the issue. So with the real God, what he does is he speaks. He's a talking God, right? So you don't have to always have your voice. Oh, let me speak for the black people.
Right.
No, you speak for God because
on.
God is speaking through you. He's not a false God. He is a talking God. And if you so believe in him, he will take over your mouthpiece. He will take over your body. And that's why we give ourselves as a living sacrifice, is because we want God to work through us, not just to us. That's what you was just saying, is that helping somebody else. That means that we got to allow God to work through us for somebody else. Right? And another thing, this is number 2. Remember, I said a dead God has to be carried by us. But here's the deal with God. God carries us. God doesn't need nobody to carry him.
Right.
He carries us. And that is the true living God. So we have to destroy these false gods, these false idols, these idols that's in our lives right now that is literally controlling our emotions, controlling what we do, our decision making. We have to fix our eyes on the Lord, and he will carry us through various different trials and tribulations.
Yeah, I think that was our closing.
Yeah, I'm ready for my
No, you good. So we're gonna go into that. I mean, this has been
Wow.
I could keep talking.
Yeah,
but,
we could have had a part 2,
but
but it would be July.
listen, July 10th.
We'd be like December 10th. December 10th.
Like,
6-part show.
hey, just real quick. I know we're going into closing, but I do have this question, just real quick.
Oh, Lord.
Like, I wanted to ask this though. Like, talking about Juneteenth, June 19th, we got these little poppies just everywhere, just.
Okay.
But June 19th, 1865, Juneteenth, Emancipation Day, African American slavery was said to be ended and illegal.
Not that date.
Oh.
It was 2 years prior.
Yeah.
This was for Texas. That's when they found out.
Yes. So, well, speaking to when black people were announced to be free, say, I feel like there are some black people who don't like to celebrate the day because they say, well, black people weren't really free because there were still people who were in slavery.
Right.
What are y'all's quick thoughts on that? Like, do you agree? Like, what are you on the left or on the right on that? Because technically people weren't free. Yeah. But so I always like to, well, not always like to, but I say this, I'm like, so do we not celebrate that it actually happened? Like, even though some people still kept people in that slavery mindset and didn't allow them to hear that, do we just not celebrate that date at that point? Or are we just gonna say, well, I'm not gonna celebrate it. I'm gonna make up my own day when they actually were free, and then I'm gonna celebrate that day?
So for me, I disagree with the holiday completely. And
Wow.
yeah,
I didn't know that.
yeah. So coming up on this, I really celebrated it just because that's what people did.
Right.
But I educated myself on it before this podcast, and just like you said, Marcus, stats say, let me just pull up my little
Go on with the stats, Kia.
It was still 250,000 people that were still enslaved. And so for me, I'm black or white. I'm not gray. And Juneteenth, that's not a true holiday that we were 100% free as slaves. And so for me,
so I have a question to you. So the first Emancipation Proclamation was January 1st, 1863. So was it 250,000 that were still slaves after that, and then they got free in 1865, or after
After
1865?
1865,
Wow.
it was still 250,000. And so I won't be celebrating June 19th going forward because it's like Janelle said, it's a Band-Aid. I think it's something
I
just
didn't know
kind of,
that.
yeah.
I'm gonna say my last little thought. Because I mean, everyone knows that we're all spiritual based, we're Christ followers. If I was the enemy, I would throw racism at us too, because it's all a distraction from allowing people to recognize who they are and the God that's inside of us. Because once everyone recognizes the God that's inside of them, it's not gonna matter. It really won't matter at all. And I think we've heard the saying before, creation cannot fix creation. Only the creator can.
Good.
And a lot of us in our human mind, because the human mind always want to know, always want to do, we get in the way and step into that role. And that's why it's chaos. And the reality of it is, guys, there's not going to be world peace.
Right.
There's always going to be some type of opposing force. That's just the reality. So that's why it's so important to know God for yourself and the purpose that God has given to you, so that you can command the territory that he's given to you. So if every person in the world, let's just say hypothetically, found God in their purpose and God has given them the power and authority over that territory, imagine how much peace we would have if everyone came under the knowledge of who they were. So all of
It's
this,
called heaven.
hallelujah. So all of this here on earth, and it's I mean, you can have heaven on earth because you have that level of peace. So all of this Juneteenth and all of this and all that is really just a distraction to divide us, because we are one human race. That's not saying that people don't have their different cultures or what have you, because even back in the Bible days, they had the different clans or whatever, but we are all human, and we need to find where our true validation comes from. So that no matter what leader is in position, no matter what this political person says or whatever, you're not going to be shaken in the foundation of who you are. So if we just allow the creator to be the creator and guide and lead us, when creation do what they doing, it's not going to shake us.
That's good.
So I guess we're doing our final thoughts.
Yeah.
You just
Final
here?
thoughts. Yeah.
Okay, cool. Well, I personally still celebrate Juneteenth, and here's why. It was a start, and it was an initiation of something greater.
Right.
For instance, we still celebrate Jesus Christ dying on the cross. Obviously, everybody wasn't freed, right? But what we do is we magnify something that did happen, the positive, and hoping that that will resonate in somebody else's spirit, resonate in your minds that you are free. Like reminding Black people you are free, because some of you guys are trapped in saying that you're not free, but you are free. And so at the very least, it still gives us some level of a celebration and really acknowledging the fact that there was somebody that said this is not right.
Right.
And we're going to wreak havoc on these plantations. And they are free. They may not know that they are free, but they are free.
Make sure they know.
It was somebody
Right.
that was willing to put their life on the line to speak knowledge and truth.
Right.
And that is what I want to celebrate. Although everybody was not free, I still believe that we can still acknowledge.
Right.
We can still acknowledge that because we celebrate these pagan holidays. And so for me, it's just like I do feel like we should celebrate that of its own. My closing thoughts. My closing thoughts are this. You cannot glorify the sword and be disappointed when the sword hits you. You cannot promote the sword. The sword represents life cutting. Jesus told This is in our Bible. Jesus told Peter, "Put your sword away, because you're cutting on my people." The sword can represent media. It's cutting on our people. The sword can represent the lyrics. They're talking about gang violence. They're talking about shooting each other. They're talking about like being real. They're talking about selling drugs on the block, things of that nature. But when your cousin died from it, you want to holler RIP. You want to grieve. But yet you are listening to the lyrics and glorifying it and promoting the sword that end up killing your brother or killing your cousin. And so one of the things that I just want everyone to understand is that the only people that the only person, let me just say it like that, the only person that should really speak towards Black people, in my opinion, is the Holy Spirit. The Holy Spirit is the only person that should be speaking. So if you are not being controlled by the Holy Spirit, you don't need to be speaking. And that's why Jesus told Peter, "Put your sword down. I want to speak." The Holy Spirit was speaking through Jesus. "I want to speak to this person." And he restored this man's ear. He restored this man's ability to hear from the Lord. Because right now, you're trying to cut on my people. You're trying to cut on this person that I'm trying to restore. And what we need to do is yield ourselves to the Holy Spirit, because that is the only person that should be speaking on behalf of any race, any ethnicity, any culture, and especially Black people.
I'll go next. My closing thoughts. When we have sensitive subjects, we react in a way that is shielding to our feelings. We react in a way that's sensitive to our emotions and to our hurt and to our past and to our anger. We end up being defensive and protective of ourselves and things attached. So that also means people who look like me. And so what I will say is you have to learn how to shift your response to those feelings. Feelings are not a fact. Feelings are an emotion. A fact is you cut me and I bleed. A feeling is you say something to me and I hurt, but how I respond is not a fact, right? I respond to a cut by bleeding. I can't change that. That's a fact. And so my thought is that if we learn how to respond in a healthy way to things that garner those feelings of protecting what doesn't feel comfortable within us, then we can begin to create a culture of Black people who are healthy and respond to those things in a way. So we have Juneteenth and we respond to it in a healthy way versus overpowering or versus anger or resentment towards a company who creates an ice cream. If I've dealt with my feelings towards that, I see the ice cream and I say, oh, they didn't make that in the best taste, but at least they did it. Versus saying, how dare them, right? Changing our feelings that we feel towards hurt and anger to a positive, or it's just a thing. I don't feel personally attacked by anything in life. When Marcus made a statement earlier that most people, if they saw someone wearing a white girl rock shirt, would feel offended. And he said, if you don't, I question that. And I'm saying I don't. Because I don't wrap my feelings of you can cuss me out. And rather than me being hurt or angered, I'm going to say she's dealing with something. She's got the problem, not me. I'm not going to get angry at her. While there are things that do anger me and that I then respond in a negative way because I'm human, I'm not perfect, I can identify myself and say, I'm not going to do that next time. I'm going to learn from that situation. I'm going to grow. And so I charge everyone listening to this whoever felt offended, hurt, or angered by something of someone of another culture, to dig down and find out, why do I feel that way? Why am I feeling this anger? Why am I feeling this hurt? And figure out and learn and grow how to change that feeling. So that way the next time it happens, you can use that as an education moment for you and the other person.
Welcome back. It's me. I don't have nothing to say. My closing thoughts is done. I'm done talking. So yeah, I've said everything I need to say.
You said it.
Yeah, real good. Like, this was real good conversation. Oh, you didn't close, sis?
I didn't have a closing.
Close,
answered your
sis.
question.
Oh,
She
you
did.
did. All right, close. Because I ain't got nothing to say.
So it's, oh yeah. Well, let me get my closing thoughts first. It's so important to renew your mind daily.
That's good.
Like I can't stress that enough. And it's so important to have the right perspective. And with renewing your mind daily, it's important because you can easily get lost in the sauce of what's going on in media. And it's important to get educated. And I'm speaking to myself because I was not educated on Juneteenth before this episode. But it's important because then you're able to think with a pure mind and not what media is saying or what your friend is saying, like you have facts about it.
Right.
And when you know information, like Marcus was saying earlier, pick your brother up. Don't be selfish.
Right.
Share that information so that they can have a correct perspective on the issue at topic.
Okay.
That's good. Well, hey, y'all. That was our episode
it.
about
Good.
Juneteenth. Glad y'all tuned in.
Wow.
Hey, so
Kia socks. We didn't call
Yes,
them.
oh, yeah,
y'all,
let's
my
talk about
socks for
Kia
today.
socks. Hey, Pumpkin.
Hey, Pumpkin. So until next time, that's
Wait,
the
hold
tea.
on. We still got stuff to talk about. We got to tell them where to follow us, where to. I mean, back it up. First of all, is that pumpkin pie or sweet potato pie?
It's pumpkin.
I
It
say
can
it's
be
sweet potato.
either.
If you can read this, she don't even know what the socks say.
I do
Bring
know
me
it's
Bring me
some
some
pie.
pie. If
Can
you
y'all
can
see
read
it?
this,
Sweet
bring
potato
me some
pie.
pie. If you can read this, bring me some pie. She said it's pumpkin pie.
I said it's sweet potato.
Okay,
It's whatever you want it to be.
I'm done.
Carrot pie.
And
Right.
if you want to give me socks, always.
Yes.
Oh yeah, it's in socks.
Shoot us a
Come on.
DM.
We'll
Shoot
have
us a
to create a
message
P.O.
on our
box for you
pages.
guys.
Right. Well, speaking of our pages, thank you to everybody who supports us, who follows Who Are We Podcast. If you don't already, maybe this is your first time tuning in, please make sure you support us, follow us on Facebook, Instagram, TikTok, and subscribe on YouTube and set up the alerts.
Yes.
You ain't gonna do the ring. Ring the bell. Ring the bell. Ring the bell. Ring the bell. And
We
ring the
said we
bell.
gonna get a bell. We
Right.
said we were gonna get a bell.
Ring the bell. But yeah, so we appreciate y'all and shout out to our guest
Thank
J
you.
Love.
Appreciate
Thank
Thank
you.
you for joining us.
A gem.
Thank you guys so much for having me. You guys, if you feel so led, you can follow me at officially JAALA on all of the platforms. Officially JAALA. Thank y'all for having me.
Thank you.
Hey, we love J Love. We didn't get her to sing. Oh, y'all gonna have to see it next time. Y'all
Yeah,
gonna have to see it.
next
Y'all shoulda did
Follow
like a
her.
3-part
Follow her.
harmony.
Follow
I
her.
don't even know. I don't know what to sing.
I love you, Jesus. Do it one time. Just that part. Just that part. Y'all go.
Who's singing alto?
I'm absolutely gonna sing.
Well, you have to sing melody. So you have to start.
My Lord.
No, we're gonna all sing
A
together.
whole
But
arrangement.
we don't know what key we're in.
Okay. I love you, Jesus. I worship and adore.
Keep going.
Just want to tell you,
One, time, three.
Lord, I love you more than anything.
I love. Here we go. I love.
I love you, Jesus. I worship and adore you. Just want to tell you, Lord, I love you more than anything.
All right.
Hey, glory, 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 glory. Anyway,
That was
Kia-
unrehearsed.
Like, that was completely
Until
unrehearsed.
next time, y'all, that's the tea with Who Are We?
Hey, we love y'all.
Bye.
Holla at y'all.
Thank you.